Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone Live. Doctor Who ratings are down again. I am joined by a very frantic teddy bear here, who I'm trying to control because just before I came on stream, guess what? The usual little moaning and whinging out of him. And now that I'm on, he wants to get down because then he'll start crying, won't you, little fella? But as I said, these ratings, this happens every time now. Sorry about this, folks. Just give us a second. Every time. Now. Do us a favour. Bring in these boxes of toys. It's in the cubby there, and just throw them all on the floor. Yeah, it's in the cubby, because if that doesn't work, because that's what he's looking for, I think. Just give him them. I'll put the light on. Sorry about that, folks. We just have to get him settled on. See, it's these storms in Ireland that we're having. We're getting one storm after the next all of a sudden. You know? Now, I know all these people out there will say it's climate change and stuff. It's not climate change. It's whatever they're doing with the bloody weather. Just let him, yeah, because he'll figure out what he wants himself. Now. Tip it over. So anyway, let's get back to what this is all about. This is a short one tonight, before we have our panel later on. But I've already got it up on the screen. So just hang on there now, and I'll share it with you guys now. So as you can see there you go. Episode 9, 3.71 million. So it's down from last week in the overnights. So while it got a bump, it's now dropping again. And as you can see, the overnights are still down. Look, they're not great. The consolidated, I should say. The consolidated are just under 5 million. And then obviously the plus 4 AI, it went back up to 80 again, but it's 5.7. So we did get a bit of a jump there from last week. We'll be interested to see what the consolidated and these scores are for this week's episode. But this is Doctor Who in trouble right now. Right? This is it now. So for anybody out there that was thinking that no, everything is fine, ratings are good, Doctor Who is fine, it's healthy, it's not, right? Last week's episode failed to get into the top 30 in the TV ratings overall, right? Doctor Who used to be in the top 10 all the time. It's even struggling to get into the top 30, let alone the top 10. This is danger. This is now where BBC need to make a decision. Now, I have actually tagged the BBC with this stream because I want them to hear you guys. I want them to hear me. And I'm going to tell you what is wrong with Doctor Who and what you need to do to fix it. So it's as simple as this. You need to get rid of the man that's currently writing for Doctor Who, because it's the writing that's the problem here. Okay, and you can see it every week. It comes on, it's getting worse. Now, he mortally wounded Doctor Who during Series 11 with trying something completely different, and he will always get credit for trying to do something different, right? It wasn't Doctor Who, but he will get the kudos for trying to do something different. The problem is that this series, he tried to go back to the trial old tested, bring back a few of the old villains and villains from New Who to try boost the ratings. And it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. It's not good enough, unfortunately. It doesn't matter what he throws at this now. People have decided that Chris Chibnall's era of Doctor Who is a write-off. And I see again from the BBC today, actually straight after last night's episode, BBC America and Doctor Who BBC official Twitter, also on Facebook, we're in overdrive, hyping up next week's episode. Now, They obviously haven't learned from this week, because they did the same with this episode and a couple of episodes before. When they seen that the series wasn't doing well, then they started to roll out the big guns, right? So they've started to overhype this again, and it didn't work last week. So what makes them think it's going to work this week? Doctor Who is in serious trouble. Serious trouble. And there is no getting away from this. And all the J-bots can say what they want and say ratings don't count. Well, listen, the people behind the BBC and people that work for the BBC put out the ratings. They're not putting out the ratings for the good of their health, right? Ratings do matter, right? And we keep telling you this. And look, we warned you guys last year. We warned you J-bots last year that if the fandom was to continue the way it was going down with the constant attacks, and if Chris Chibnall and his production team were also going to have little cracks and the writing was going to get worse, we told you that this was going to happen, and you didn't believe us. See, whether you like it or not, the bottom line is there's more of us than there is of yous. We were right all along. Yous are a small minority of fans, right? I wouldn't even call you fans, right? Because we stick around, yous won't, right? What's happened is more the fans, the real fans, that decided that they'd give Series 12 a chance, like they did with Series 11, have finally had enough and are walking away. And I don't blame them. And I don't blame them, because when you treat your audience as with the disrespect that Chris Chibnall has, with blatantly stupid writing. I mean, last night's episode, as I said on a few casts and on this channel, I said, what actually happened in the episode? What actually happened in the episode? We had 15 minutes. There was a bit of a little gun battle, right? That was it. She managed to get 3 humans killed out of the last 7. So 45% the human race. She wiped out another 3 because she was incompetent. She comes running down a hill like a blundering fool and like, oh, I'll help. I'll help. This equipment will help. Don't ask questions. And then she gets 3 of them killed. And then Chris Chibnall saying we needed a drink. Yeah, you're right. We did need a drink, and not for the reasons why you wanted us to have a drink. Mate, as I said last night, you might have to be drunk to understand this episode, to see Troy do what he was there. Because I still can't figure out what happened last night. And I'm pretty, as you know, yourselves, like most Doctor Who fans in this live chat here as well, and that watch me. And obviously, the majority of Doctor Who fans are very smart people, right? And even some of them still don't know what's going on, right? So I don't even know what he tried to achieve last night. I think he's just setting us up. He gave us nothing because next week he's going to do what he has, what some fans speculate he's going to do. And that's why. And then he's going to leave us with the shock value right at the end. And you know what? Don't be surprised if he leaves it on a cliffhanger. Sunday. Right? And then he'll make us wait a whole year then, because that's the kind of guy he is. He'll make us wait a whole year then, because he knows we'll be all dying to know what will happen, because, we will, as Doctor Who fans, we want to know if he's destroyed canon or not. But we told you that this was going to happen. You didn't believe us. You got cocky. And this is the fans I'm talking about. He's got cocky. He just went out and he has attacked. I've even been attacked by some people I used to work with when we exposed the feminist front, as you know. This has turned nasty. But we warned you. We told you that this was going to happen. We told you that if the ratings continued to tank, this was Doctor Who fans telling you exactly what they thought. Listen, everybody gave Series 11 a chance. The numbers actually prove it. So even those that were secretly saying that they weren't watching were more than likely watching at the time, because the numbers last year add up. This year, they're completely gone to shit, because those fans that watched in Series 11 that swore they wouldn't watch in the first place definitely didn't come back for Series 12. They didn't buy into the Cybermen. They didn't buy into the Doom coming back. They didn't buy into all the rumors of sea devils and all this other stuff. They just had enough. And as I said, you are only a small minority of fans. And I see that some of my fan club, because I Googled, not Googled my name, I tweeted me handle last night just to see was there anybody, because as you know yourselves, I've been getting a bit of heat the last few months especially. And Jesus Christ, the amount of people shit talking me on Twitter that I didn't even know. And obviously a few of my favourite people shit talking me still after me telling them if they've had anything to say to me, say it to me face. And then they go and call me a horrible person and say that this channel is toxic and this channel is trying to bring down Doctor Who. I'm not trying to bring down Doctor Who. I'm not trying to bring down Doctor Who. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make the BBC realise that they've actually got a gem in their hands, and if they treated it with a little bit of respect and they treated our fans with a little bit of respect, they would actually have the backing of this fandom. And if the show was decent enough, fans would support it. And that's the point. But they don't. They don't listen. Also, as well, I've had 4 responses off people just so far in the last hour, people saying they've received an email from the BBC. Every response is a generic response. It's the same response now. BBC are actually putting out automated responses now because they've got so many emails to actually deal with. So again, I did a stream explaining what I'd like is to put in the emails. I talk about the climate change. They preach to us about climate change, but yeah, they flew to all these different locations, and some of their merchandise is made out of plastic and wrapped in plastic. So why don't they, if they're trying to tell us about climate change, well then why isn't BBC setting that example? Stuff like that. Also talk about how they handled Graham's cancer, and also issues like the bullying and the reverse racism in Rosa. You have to give proper facts. You can't just go in and say, oh, I don't like the writing, I don't like Jodie Whittaker, and don't like Chris Chibnall, because BBC will laugh at that. You have to, as I said, when you are emailing an email, you've got to make sure that you give specific points that they can't really argue against. So the climate change one is really one that you should actually stick at. The fact that they preached was about plastic as well, and most of their merchandise is actually made out of plastic and wrapped in plastic. And as I said, the issues like around Ryan's disability, I mean, they haven't treated that with respect. Have we seen any character development on that? No. And as I said, the mental health issues, and also the way they handled Graham's cancer in the show. Stuff like that. You need to give points like that. They're the kind of things that BBC can't ignore. But if you just talk about someone's acting, they can ignore that and say, well, because, they will still throw out the same old story. Listen, this comes to me from someone that knows how the BBC works, right? This comes from someone that used to work for the BBC. So I'm told how these complaints work and what complaints BBC ignore and what complaints BBC can't ignore. So those points that I've given, this is what I've been told. This is the better way of doing it. So you talk about those issues. You don't talk about how bad Jodie's acting is or how bad Chris Chibnall's writing is. You've got to give examples, right? And tell them, well, it's kind of funny you talk to us about climate change, but why did BBC feel it necessary to fly to all these different exotic locations? Is that not defeating the purpose of trying to help battle and combat climate change? Even if you don't believe in climate change, you know what I mean? That's the point. If they're supposed to, they're supposed to set an example. If they're going to preach to the audience about something, well, then should they not be the ones setting the example? You know what I mean? So as I said, they're the type of things, and this comes from someone that knows how the BBC works. So that's why I've asked you now, when you put out your emails now, to kind of point out those things that I have mentioned. They're things they cannot ignore. So there's other things they can, like if you say, "Oh, the acting's bad," well, they'll just bring up, because it's the BBC. They'll just bring up the ratings. Well, the AI is at the 80s, so that's successful enough for us, you know. Whereas you give examples like that, it's very hard for them to combat, because then what can the BBC say when you say, "Well, you talk to your audience about climate change, but you're flying around all those locations"? Well, you know, the response, you know, it's going to be very hard for them to respond with a response that's going to be satisfactory to you. So you've backed them into a corner there, right? I just wish the BBC would actually listen, because if they listened now, they could actually save this show. It's as simple as that. But they won't listen, so we're going to continue to do what we do until they do listen. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what you guys actually think in the comments there. I see that there's a few of you actually in the comments. I'll read out the comments. I'm sorry about Ted in the background. He has his toys, but he's still crying. Charlotte is here. Gary is here. Stuart is here.
Teddy.
The Geek Inside 71 is here. Welcome. Mike De Souza is here. Gary Hewitt is here. Welcome. Scooby D is here. Jamie Daniels is here. Max is here. Stephanie is here. Welcome, guys. Nigel is here. Gary is here. Hey, Gary. Gary 535. Welcome back, mate. I know you've been busy, my friend. Super John. Beam me up, Lucas. Nice. Like the name. Like the name. Welcome. Unknown 289. Oi. Saloy is here. And the true Hoovian also is here. I tell you, he's just acting the MAGA man. And Chris is here. Well, the only positive thing I can see, the ratings are still dropping, which means even the casual viewers are tuning, could be are tuning, are turning away. I agree. That's the problem. I just don't know what's wrong with him, babe. I mean, all these toys are there, right? He goes under the chair there and he starts crying because he wants your chocolate cake.
He wants our undivided attention.
Sorry, mate, I am late. Gary is here.
Teddy, come here.
Oh, Gareth is here. Sorry, Gareth. And he says he posted something on the Facebook group. Right, we'll have a look. Hold on, buddy.
I don't know what to do.
Come here to me. Come on, sit up beside Daddy. Give me your ball and I'll throw it to you. You think BBC will lose the license fee? I don't know, but if this trend cannot continue. This is not what BBC wanted for Series 12. Look at. They brought back all these villains and stuff because they wanted to try boost the ratings, right? It's failed. You don't bring back the Cybermen. You don't bring back the Jadon, right? And you don't bring in another doctor if you're not trying to boost the ratings. You're clearly trying to boost the ratings, right? Because you know that show is in trouble, right? Someone said it last night. It's always the same. When a TV show is in trouble, right? When a TV show is in trouble, they roll out all the big guns, right? Now, Matrix Lord has a theory, and you know what? I tend to agree with him on this one because he's got a point. When a TV show goes to shit, what normally happens then is the big guns are rolled out. So if Chris Chibnall does indeed manage to keep his job, right? What's going to happen is he's already come out and said that he would like to work with Karen Gillan, Arthur Duval, right? And he wants to bring back that's his goal. He wants to bring back some old companions, right? Now, Karen Gillan apparently and Arthur Duval have said that they will come back and do Doctor Who if they're given they will do it even if they have to take a pay cut, because they'd be doing it as a favor, because apparently Karen Gillan has regrets about them being killed off, because she wanted them killed off. Moffat actually didn't want to kill off the Ponds, apparently. It was Karen Gillan that wanted the Ponds killed off. And Cheryl's nearly at the
I can't get around it. Shut up.
That's funny, man. Well, if you had a fell on your face, I wouldn't, Dave. I'm just saying that was funny.
Well, make your dog stop barking.
I don't know what's wrong with him. I just can't calm. Oh, give me your ball. Get your ball. Sorry, guys. It's getting out of hand. Give him it. Oh, you already gave him treats. That's not even working either. See, he's a spoiled rotten. That's what happens when you get a spoiled rotten dog.
That's what happens when mommy loses a dog.
Well, Gary, according to Matrix Lord, and we have seen the article. I've seen the article myself. He has spoke about bringing back all companions. He look at. He has a 5-year plan, right? Now, he's not going to get to do his 5-year plan, right? Because of the way this series has turned out. But in his desperation for Series 13, right, to try boost the numbers. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Jodie Whittaker is going to be still on board, right? We don't know what's going to happen yet, because that end of series review is going to happen. Trust me, they cannot justify this. If I were the BBC, and as I said, I've tagged them, you get rid of Chris Chibnall now. You get rid of his writing team and you start again. Look at, as Matrix Lord said last night, and he made a point, and I know it'll be a pain in the arse for Doctor Who fans, but if we had to wait 1.5 years, 2 years again for a new series to come out under a new showrunner with a new Doctor, right? And we knew it was someone that wrote Doctor Who in the past, we would be willing to wait those 2 years, because we would know anything that we're given is going to be better than what we got now. And you do not bring back old companions. You only bring back old companions if it makes sense within the narrative, like RTD did with Rose, or you bring them back because you're desperate. Now, RTD wasn't desperate, because for me, personally speaking, Series 4 was one of the most successful anyway. Series 3 was actually, I think, is underrated. I think RTD's run is actually pretty solid. The only thing, I didn't like the specials near the end. I did like the Waters of Mars. I didn't like the 2-part, the end of time, part 1 and 2, to be quite honest with you. I didn't like the specials, to be quite honest. Walker Mars is my favourite, and the Dead Planet, or that's what it's called, or whatever it is. That's not. Oh, the Planet of the Dead, is it? Yeah, that's not bad. It's alright. Good little story. It's just I don't like the actress that's in it, because she was in EastEnders before. So, yeah, he definitely is Daddy's boy. Give me your ball, buddy. Get me your balls.
Daddy's boy.
Yeah, he is. He's smiling and all. Get your ball. Give me your ball. Come on. There it is there. Look. I don't know what you want.
I will not be watching my television.
No. You're not leaving again, right? You can't keep doing this.
Ted.
Right, well, we're on 24 minutes now, so we'll be going for another 10 minutes and then we're done. And then I'll be back later on tonight for our panel. But Series 3 is underrated. RTD's era is actually pretty solid, considering, obviously, I don't like the specials, as I said, but his era is solid. And so, I mean, Series 4, when he brought Rose back, it wasn't out of desperation, because Martha Jones had come into our own. Because remember, we had done it, but Martha had also come back into Series 4 as well, didn't she? No, was that Martha in Series? Yeah, Martha was in Series 4. What am I talking about? She was in the Sontaran episodes, yeah. So, and then we got Rose as well. And I think Series 4 is one of the best series. We also got one of the best. A horror, by the way, Chibnall. If you're going to do horror, the Haunting of Villa Diodati, wherever you want to bloody call it, That wasn't a horror. That was actually more of a joke. I was actually laughing when Graham was looking for the toilet in a time where there was no toilets. That was the only funny part. Even last night's episode, he was the highlight. Even though, as Ballstreck said, you could tell that the guy doesn't give a crap anymore. None of them do. I don't think any of these companions. I'd like Bradley Walsh's character to survive, for the simple fact is he's the only one that I actually like, and I wouldn't like him to die. As for the rest of them, I don't care. I don't care about Jodie Whittaker's doctor. I hope she does regenerate. I hope the master chokes her out and she's forced to regenerate. I'm serious. And leave on that cliffhanger where she's regenerating. That'd be a cliffhanger I would actually enjoy. If we seen her regenerating at the end of this episode, because all the J-bots then would have to wait their year to see if it's a fake regeneration or a real regeneration. So for me, if they were going to do something like that, yeah, I'd love it because it'd wind up the J-bots. And that to wind them up after the 2.5 years of horrendous behavior from them, that really actually would make me smile. Yeah, and by the way, in last night's episode, and maybe because me and Cheryl weren't actually, at that stage when we were watching the episode, like all Doctor Who episodes now, Cheryl said something. It's not that I didn't like it all. It's just, it didn't interest me.
I just can't be bothered.
It can't be bothered, right? So do you know what we missed? It was only when I was sent a little clip, but we seen the scene. When the Doctor, or when Graham is talking to Julie, he fluffs his lines. He nearly calls himself the Doctor. After the video, do you want to see the video?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, he fluffed these lines.
Okay.
Bradley Walsh fluffed these lines in Doctor Who and they left it in.
Ted.
Whoever edited the video, whoever edited the episodes, didn't do a great job, didn't do their job properly.
What, someone on Doctor Who not doing their job properly?
Yeah.
The hell you say?
I know.
Teddy!
I just... Teddy. I don't know why you're crying. All your toys are there. There's nothing in the kitchen, buddy.
He's already had treats.
But he thinks there's something in the kitchen. There's nothing in the kitchen.
Listen to me. You think you run this house, but you do not. You are the most cherished possession, and I have spoiled you rotten, but you are not in charge.
By the way,
I love you, but you need to listen to mommy.
By the way, that actor Matthew Dale, do you know the one that I told you that was interested in coming on for an interview?
Got it.
Well, he texted me. It looks like it's a legit account. So yeah, an actor from Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi's era, that starred in the Robin Hood episode called again? Robots of Sherwood, wasn't it? Yeah. So an actor from the Robots of Sherwood would like to come on this channel to be interviewed. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, I'll give you his name now, and you can actually go and Google him to show you that I'm not actually taking the mick. His name is Matthew Dale. Ryan Matthew Dale, Robots of Sherwood, and you'll see him. He wants to be interviewed. He wants to come on this channel because he's obviously heard about the channel. I don't know if he's coming on to... Here's the thing, he wants to come on, right? But I don't know if he's a defender of this era or whether he's coming on and he's going to just talk about his time on Doctor Who. I'm pretty sure we'll, obviously, when we set it up, we will find out what we are able to talk about and what we're not able to talk about. But, yeah, I will get back to him.
I don't.
He's just doing it because he just
Listen,
officially owed it. Well,
child with the IEP, I would have you sorted out. Stop it.
Right, this can't happen during the panel. Though. Hello, Noel. I'm back, says the Doctor AC. Welcome back. And we've got official Yoda in the house as well. And Ben, welcome. And Marty is here as well. Welcome, Marty. Marty's become a panelist on the Tardis Zone. Love it. See, that's disgraceful. See, this is why he does it, right? He doesn't want me and Cheryl in the same room, right? So Cheryl's actually picked them up now and gone into the bedroom, which is an absolute joke. The dog has basically took out since we got him, took over the house. Now look, he's back in with me.
Did you open the door yourself?
He did. I told you. He's a little terrorist.
Theodore, get in there.
You locked the bed. He can't get in. You zipped it up. Oh, guys, you should see this. This is hilarious because Cheryl is having our glass of wine, right? And she's right. She's annoyed now because she can't sit down.
I just want to watch one TV show.
I know. I'm finishing up now.
Josh, do not make me become Noel's mom right now.
Right. Okay.
Ted, Lynn, I will not have it.
Shh, I'm live. Like, calm down.
Yes, but I'm doing a
See what I have to put up with, so you all think I'm the psychopath.
But I have a bang out of your mom.
See?
But my accuracy on your mom's accent.
But seriously, and Milan is here as well. Welcome. It just can't go on. It can't go on in this direction. And you know what? If he does manage to survive, which I'm hoping he doesn't still, you know, as I said, there is that end of series review. So I still hold out hope because the BBC actually haven't announced them officially. And that's the thing that I keep reminding people, because it's important to remind people. The only two people that have come out and said that they're staying are Jodie Whittaker herself and Chris Chibnall, right? When Manit Gill was asked whether she was staying or not, she said that she didn't know whether any of them were staying, and that was the beauty of working on Doctor Who, which was a bit of a stupid statement to make in the first place. But there you go. BBC haven't officially announced that these two are staying. They're the only two that are coming out and saying that. Just like Christopher Eccleston did the same thing, but he was already gone. Matt Smith did the same thing, and he was already gone. So I take no credence in that until I see those two on film and location, or I see BBC officially announcing that. So
you're in there. I'm done with you right now.
So if he survives Series 13 though, right, and he brings back all these old companions, just trust me, fans will see right through it this time. Fans are not going to be fooled a second time, right? Some fans came back because of Daleks and because of the Sicily. And I reckon, and by the way, I'm starting to think now, and if you guys look back at the time, there was nothing really going on in the Doctor Who fandom. We were complaining, right? This channel and a couple of other channels were getting source information and we were putting it out there, right? But we weren't getting... while this channel was spot on with the information that we got, there was very little, you know, there's a few big pieces of information, but there wasn't nothing really, you know, that was huge. And then we got those leaked photographs then and that video footage of the Daleks. And I always said at the time that that the timing of that was a bit strange, right? And I'm telling you now, and I'm going to say this out straight, I think, personally speaking, because when people watch that footage, the first thing that comes out of people's fans' mouths was, at the time, where was the security? Why didn't the security tell them not to film? And why did the security let them pass in the first place? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the BBC allowed it. There was nothing going on with Doctor Who in the fandom. Nobody gave a crap. So remember when the footage and the still photographs of the Daleks were actually shown, then the fandom went into a frenzy, right? I did videos, other YouTubers did videos, we all did videos, right? So we gave the BBC the exposure that they actually wanted, right? So I'm telling you now, some of these leaks have been generated and manufactured, and actually, it's probably, and I'm just going to say probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the BBC themselves to try to generate some hype. And they've been hyping this next week's episode up. Do you know what? They're setting themselves up for even a bigger fall next week. Because if you think people are going to watch after what they saw last night, right? Even Matrix Lord, who hasn't been as critical as I have been, right, was critical last night and didn't like last night. I've never seen Joe so animated. I joined him at 5:30 this morning. I was actually watching Gary last night. I nearly watched the whole stream. I think I left a half an hour beforehand, but I came back just as the stream was ending. But I was in the stream all night and I was listening to Gary and Doomcock, and then it popped up on the screen that Matrix Lord was going live, and then I get a message. I decided to write in, and I just wrote in and said, Joe, this was boring. And then he invited me on. Now, Joe has obviously invited me on a few times, but because of the time difference and because I don't really like to wake Cheryl up, I've said no. But last night I said, feck it, I'll go on. And I went, oh, I've never seen Joe so animated in my life. You know, and he said he's going to lose the plot next week. This week or next week, wherever you want to call it now, when the episode, if he does what he thinks Chibnall's going to do. And I don't blame him. But this is it now. It's the end game for Doctor Who. You change or you continue to see this slide in Series 13. And trust me, no matter what you throw at Series 13, it will not be good enough. So you're probably wondering what you need to do or where that leaves you. Well, it's simple. As I said earlier, you get rid of the man that's been responsible for this era, which is Chris Chibnall, and you get rid of his writing team, and you start again. As I said, I don't think Doctor Who fans will mind if you get someone in that the fans can get behind the showrunner. And trust me, BBC, yous are clever enough, right? Yous know that there'd be someone out there that the fans could get behind. Doctor Who fans, and I mean proper Doctor Who fans, not the casual fans that you want to attract, right? That seem to be overrunning this fandom with our propaganda, right? Or the ones that use highlight. I've noticed as well, right? I always put up a tweet during the episode, either on BBC America when they're talking about Doctor Who, or the official, right? And what you will notice is that BBC America and the other BBC, they'll retweet fans' tweets, right? But if you notice the fans' tweets that they retweet, right, they're the ones that have featured in their magazine. It's the ones that the shill media report on, because these are the ones that are actually giving this a good rating. They never actually show the balance, and they never actually show fans that aren't happy with this show. They try to make it out that this show is actually great when it actually isn't. Welcome, Will, and Odd Bandicoot 96 is here as well. Welcome. Nice to see you guys. So that's the thing. It just can't survive. It can't. I didn't even think. Like, I mean, last night I made a prediction, or this morning I made a prediction on Matrix Lord's channel. I actually thought that today's overnights would actually get a bump because of last week. The fact that they've actually dropped. Now, I know we don't like the last week's episode, but a lot of people did. So that's why I thought there would be an up surge. But there wasn't. So clearly fans have had enough. Am I the only one who has to sign in with a... What, you have to sign in?
Every time I try to log onto your channel, I have to prove I'm not a robot.
Well, I wish I could do that with everybody. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to everybody, but I wish I could do that with everybody, because then that means then I could actually, eliminate the trolls. I think it might be. I don't know. Do you know what? It could be the case that if your name was probably used by one of these trolls, maybe that's why they've asked you to do it, because your name was used and so was a few others. So if you are actually told to do that, it's probably because a troll has used your name to try to pretend to be you. So like when they're in the channel and the chat, they could troll away, as you know. But I haven't done that into the settings because the only thing is I have on the settings is hold any inappropriate comments for review, and that's just because of what's happened with the trolls. You know me, you know.
I can't.
I just don't know what's going on with them. Right, listen, I'm back at 10 as usual for a panel. We're gonna go now because this attention seeking dog is not gonna stop until I go off. Watch, as soon as I go off, he'll be quiet again. This is what annoys me because we have to. Right, let me see what we got here. Look what Chris wrote up, Cheryl. Come here, Ted. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Now, sit there for a minute, right? And stop for a minute, right? Just wait for a minute. Right. So we're going to say goodbye. Good night. Here. Listen to me. Listen to me, little grumpy hole. Right? We're going to say goodbye to everybody, right? So for me and Teddy and Cheryl, and there he is. And he's saying goodbye. He's saying goodbye to you all.
He's celebrating Harvey Weinstein's thing.
Right, listen, I'll talk
Ted.
to you later on for a panel. I'm gonna try get everybody see if who's coming on tonight. And I'll talk to you later on, right? Listen, sorry about Ted in the background, but anybody that's a long-term follower knows that he's not actually like this all the time. It's just because it is the winter, and as I said, we've had storm after storm. It's just unsettled him a little bit. He should be okay as we get into the summer. As you know, then you will probably hear him rolling around the floor and playing with his ball because he's a mad little lunatic. So I'm gonna leave you with this. Don't forget, guys, to join me later on the panel, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Goodbye, everybody.